Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Next up, man arrested for building homemade bombs making plans to blow up Satanic Temple. This came to us from WZZM13.com, which is an ABC affiliate, and it was sent by Progress Only. So again, that's news at vicerhino.com if you have news articles that you want me to cover. Starts with a completely irrelevant YouTube video of a completely different situation, so we can skip that. So Luke Isaac Terpstra, 30-year-old in Grant, Michigan, was arraigned on January 4th for building homemade explosive devices, then trying to get rid of them, according to Grant Police. The sheriff office received a tip on January 2nd from Terpstra's mother that explosives had possibly been thrown away in the garbage receptacle at her son's address in Grant. His stepfather came over to his home to help him pack when he got after he got evicted. When Terpstra commented that he needed to disarm and dispose of some explosives that he had. Terpstra's stepfather saw the explosives in a box and photographed them before he tried to throw the evidence away. Documents show he was asked by his stepfather about the explosives. He then revealed that he was thinking about using them on the Satanic Temple in Massachusetts, saying he had already drove there to scope out the location. So he told his stepfather he was targeting the temple because there are pedophiles there and they're bad people. This is the danger of right-wing rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
They've been pushing the pedophile narrative anywhere they can, even when there's zero evidence. Let's look at the Epstein client list thing. There was no client list. If you're a pedophile running a racket where you're bringing other people to fuck kids or whatever, you're not keeping a list of those people. The so-called client list is just a list of people who happen to be on Epstein's jet. And the fact of the matter is that Epstein was a rich guy who threw money at people, and people often courted him in order to get that money. It doesn't mean that everybody who was ever on the jet was a pedophile. And case in point, I have every reason to want to associate Donald Trump with Epstein so that I can, increase my point that Donald Trump is a terrible person. However, after Epstein's first conviction for sexual abuse or assault or whatever it was, I think it was 2008, he was convicted and found guilty of that. After that moment, Trump stopped associating with him, along with a bunch of other people on the so-called client list, like Bill Clinton. When it came out that he's a sexual predator, a bunch of people stopped associating with him. But because they did at that time, they're still supposedly on the list that somehow they always omit Donald Trump from. But this is you go to the Pizzagate thing. Some guy goes to a pizza shop with an AR-15 because they're saying they're fucking kids in the basement of this pizza shop that doesn't even have a basement. You get the Sound of Freedom guy who is a sexual predator who has been charged with sexual crimes. That his whole thing is I'm gonna fight child sex trafficking. Meanwhile, his methods for doing that, if he was actually telling the truth about what he did, actually increased child sex trafficking because he created demand for something that wasn't there. So this right-wing rhetoric is not only harming innocent people that they're accusing of pedophilia with zero evidence, it's also harming the kids that they are supposedly trying to protect.
I think it's incredibly hilarious that people will go to these links, planning a bombing in this situation. For the Satanic Temple, which they've only heard cultivates this culture of pedophilia, but yet, since for a long time.
Did they ever think of going to bomb a Catholic church? Because
exactly.
We have evidence of them condoning not necessarily openly condoning it, but their actions speak louder than words, and we know for a fact that they protect pedophiles.
Yeah.
But nobody goes, none of the right-wing nut jobs are we need to bomb the Catholic Church. No, they're going after the Satanic Temple, who are just hey, bodily autonomy is important.
Yeah. You don't see anybody trying to raid a Catholic church because they're, molesting young kids in there. Chances are, if there's a Catholic church that you're near, there's been some kid diddling that has happened in it.
Yeah.
Just the sheer number of churches that are wrapped up in this scandal in the Catholic Church is just astronomical.
Statistically speaking, every priest in the Catholic Church either is a pedophile or knows someone who is a pedophile and knows that they are a pedophile. Every single one.
And the higher ups in the Catholic organization have helped in some kind of way to hide pedophiles.
Yeah. And now I am not saying that we should use this to bomb Catholic churches. What I am saying is that the right wing is using this inflammatory language specifically to get people riled up, which will result, like, it has resulted in people dying. Like, this is right-wing terrorism. This is right-wing white Christian terrorism. Adam Broughton sent $5, says, on that topic, I had a friend tell me that Trudeau is known to do things to children like it's a well-established fact with zero evidence. Yeah. Like, Trudeau, I'm not going to defend Trudeau against much. Like, he's been documented in blackface, for fuck's sake. But, like, there's no evidence that he's a child sex predator. If there is, I want to know about it so I can be like, no, fuck that guy, put him in prison. But, like, there isn't. And, like, let's be real here. I am not, like, this is not a partisan issue. If you are someone who abuses children, I don't care whether you've got an R or a D next to your name when you're in Congress. I want you locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's the main thing I wanted to get into with this, is that, like, this is the result of the right-wing rhetoric, is terrorism. They are fomenting terrorism. Literally. So Michigan State Police used robots to search through garbage cans and found what the bomb squad referred to as improvised explosives, IEDs, with the intent to harm people. Some of them were wrapped in shrapnel. One of the jars was even wrapped, like, it had ammunition wrapped around it so that when it exploded, rifle rounds would go through the air. So those are not,
Wow.
those would not be nice bombs to be around.
No. I mean, he was serious about causing as much damage as he could, huh?
Yeah.
All because he doesn't like the Satanic Temple, or he's been brainwashed by, conservatives.
Yeah. Axo says, I heard IUD at first. It's a very different thing.